Hello, everybody. This video clip is for you child welfare social workers. I miss everybody down there, but I'm making this that are just really wearing you guys. First of all, I want to say that you guys, as professionals, as social workers, we rock, and we're the pretty rock, not the ugly rocks. A lot of things that you are experiencing as a social worker is nothing different from our clients sometimes. You feel like you're undervalued. You are told you're not doing enough. Maybe you're under a person who doesn't necessarily know how to be a leader. They're managing and crunching numbers. You are a human being. I want to tell you, since I left child welfare, which I absolutely had a lot of experience down there, I appreciate the journey. But having coming out of that agency, I have discovered countless opportunities for social workers to do the things that you love and get paid for what you love doing. I'm not telling any of you guys to walk off your job right now, but do have an exit strategy. The system is what it is. Do not stress yourself out. Do not define your life based on the supervisor evaluation of you. You have to know your worth. You have to know whether or not your evaluation is reflective of who you are. That's their paperwork business. You, as an individual, having gone through graduate school, undergraduate school, or whatever type of schooling you went through, more than likely, you got called to this profession because it was a call. It wasn't one of them things where you just sat down and said, hey, I want to go talk and work with people who are suffering, human suffering. We all have our own set of suffering that we deal with on a daily basis for the most part. So for those of you who are burnt to the max, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, you feel like you want to walk off their job, that's a sign of severe burnout, because when you're ready to walk off, that means you don't care if the bills is paid, you don't know how that mortgage or that rent gonna be paid, you yelling at folks at the house, you're not trying to get booed up, you are simply burnt out. And that is very, very common for social workers that we ignore. And self-care should not be an illusion. An illusion being going to a spa, getting a massage, going back to work Monday to the same madness. And so I want to spend this time giving you tips on how to have an exit strategy if that's what you want to do. Also, if you don't have an exit strategy and you want to stay there and retire, that's fine too. But let me give you some wisdom on how you're going to keep yourself sane in an insane system. I want to also say that I am in an agency that is a state agency, and now that I can compare county benefits and program to another system, I want to let you know Fresno County have a lot of more perks in terms of the retirement, the vacation time for those of you who have been with the county for a long time. Me starting all over, the vacation time off is minimal, but overall in the state, you will get paid up to six figures by the time you're licensed. That's just bottom line. You will make more money. But is it the type of work that you can handle? Is it the passion that you want to do? You don't want to get into any type of work based on money. We need our money. We need our coins. But if you're going into a system that's underpaying you, you started off that you had all this fire and passion to do true work, and then you find out you're really passionate about something. You really love working with, say, I don't know, human suffering, or I'm sorry, human trafficking or something, and then you get an email, boom, you got to move to another unit based on a shortage. Our system do not create experts. They create moving people around like we dominoes and spades. Okay, based on a vacancy, they need to move your body, whether or not you're good at what you do when you get moved or not. That's just how the system is. And no salt, no shade to these social work supervisors and managers. A lot of times it trickles down. But in how we deliver to our staff, if you are a manager watching, it makes all the difference in the world. Because we know that the federal government set guidelines on how many cases you're supposed to handle. And we know realistically you cannot handle them all. So what I'm going to tell you is you do not sit up there and die in what you're going through. You sit up there and you revisit your goals and your exit strategy. What is my plan? What is my goal? First of all, you have to value yourself. Don't wait for them people down there at that office got you boxed off in that little cubicle with all them doggone critters running around, and the phones is off the chain and all of this other stuff that you deal with, and then have a supervisor that do not necessarily treat you fair and equitable. Do we not advocate for ourselves? And we know advocacy is very tiring. It's very draining to have to keep speaking up for yourself. But here's what I'm going to tell you: don't do a whole lot of talking. You should only make a few statements. This is where you are. This is what I can do. And put it back on that supervisor. This is what I can do right now. Based on the cases before me, how are you, Mr. or Mrs. Supervisor, going to help guide me to get to the goal that you set forth? If they can't give you an answer, you can't give them an answer. Do what you can do in the 8 hours and be done with it. Because you've been burnt out, compassion fatigue, you still got your personal stuff going on, things going on at the house, your finances all upside down. You cannot be all these things to people. This is what I'm trying to tell. What I'm out here doing is changing the culture of social work. And I'm going to be working with some colleges, some universities, and managers. Because we don't need managers, we need leaders. A leader will skip a meeting to take out time to jump in the car and do some field work to help you have some level of true help and support. A manager manages numbers and statistics for the most part. They need their numbers to look good for the state so they can keep getting money. A leader lead out. A leader do things differently. And you sitting there as a social worker, you are a leader. You leading out people's lives, the families that's stuck. They're doing all the programs that's required of them. They go to court and find out they still can't reunify. Don't that sound like you? You're doing all that you can, haven't called in sick. People that keep calling in sick being rewarded. And you're doing. For those of you, even the first in the family to even graduate and get a degree, you're doing what you thought was the right thing. And it is the right thing. But you're just up under a system that's very oppressive. The system is way bigger than you and I together. So my thing is, are you going to die in it? Are you going to live in it? Are you going to keep going to work? Your blood pressure is high. You're supposed to be fully present to your clients. And so what you're doing is, in a state of 911, you want to walk off the job, which means you're going to have more problems, because if you're a bachelor's level social work in the Fresno area, there's not very many opportunities where you're going to really get paid enough to pay that PG&E bill. Y'all know PG&E in Fresno is off the hook. So if you bachelor's level, you're looking at group home, FFAs at 18, 16 bucks an hour. I don't know what their benefits look like. So what I'm saying to you is, if you know that your season with your agency is over, don't leave off emotion. Have a plan. Have a exit strategy, just like I did. If you need help coming up with an exit strategy to monetize the gifts that you have within inside of you, see me. That's what I'm here for. I specialize in pulling out the gifts that you have that maybe your employer is ignoring, because they have a whole nother agenda to meet. They have board of supervisor demands that trickle on down. And then if you have managers and supervisors who are immature in how they're approaching you, then that is very frustrating. But don't be smart about it. Don't allow anybody actions to push you off your job without an exit strategy. Don't have nobody pushing you under the bridge, moving back with your parents, doing all of these sacrifices based on somebody being ignorant, based on somebody being ill and mean. Because mental illness, untreated mental illness, is really, really big in the helping profession across the board, whether you're a social worker, police officer, teacher, any service-driven providers. Our statistics in suicide and mental illness is very, very high. I just want to go on record telling you that, because now that I'm training in mental health, I'm going to many different conferences and I'm learning about the stats on what's going on out there about everybody else. But I'm the one in the class saying, hold on, can you pull up some stats? What's going on with my people? What's going on with my social workers who can't even pay their student loans? They're not even out here living beyond their means. They're just trying to make ends meet up together. And we don't qualify for food stamps and general relief and all those goodies. So what I'm saying to you, to the burnt out social worker, you probably been enduring for a very long time. And your body is telling you, hold up, I can't do this no more. I can't do it anymore. You can't fake it anymore. You can't go in that office anymore and bite your tongue. Some of you guys, whether you have vacation hours on the books or not, It's time for you to take a time out and unplug. And when you're doing that, let the boss know, I don't care if I don't have hours on the books. I need time off. Dock me. Do what you have to do because you got to get your mind right. When your mind is not well, you make rash decisions that you regret that come to bite you in the butt later. Okay? I've been there. I was in the darkest space when I left. And I thank God for the support and the leadership that I was up under. Now, there was some leadership that needed to be educated about how I show up in the agency. Hence, I had to put them in their place in the most professional way. And some of you guys need to probably do the same thing. That's what I can help you do in terms of my clarity sessions that I offer. You got to get clear about where you're going, clear about what's bothering you, clear about what's worrying you, because everything that's going on up here, it affects your finances, your health, your boo, or lack thereof, because you're not out there trying to even date because you're just so tired and exhausted. I know how it is. When you get off your hours, you're ready to go home and lay down. For me to leave and do what I had to do, I left. I had a lot of tragedy going on back to back to back to back to the point I didn't know if I wanted to just go back to, I don't know. I was considering smoking some weed and just wanting to calm it down, but my drug of choice was food. And so I gained all kind of weight just eating, eating, eating because I didn't know what the heck to do. And shout out for you guys that, experience death on your caseloads like I did. And the agency give you 3 days off to try to manage that. And then the 3 days off, they still calling and emailing you, asking you questions. It's time out for that. We're going to create a new culture for social workers where you're not oppressed like these systems are oppressed, and how the clients are oppressed, and how people are not held accountable. And as a supervisor, there's a way that you can lead out. You don't have to manage if a person coming in or out, or they giving you the best that they have with what they have, with what they have in them. So for a supervisor who watching, when is the last time you call a staff? And first of all, they're not your employees because all of y'all checks have the same employer. So get off that sense of ownership. You don't own anybody down there. Matter of fact, if you lose your job today as a supervisor, you one paycheck away from paying your own bills. So let's build a team. When's the last time you called Miss Jones in the office or emailed her just to tell her you want to chat? And then I get up and get all antsy because I think you finna call and tell me I ain't turned in the case. Why? Because you set the system up. You're a part of that system that punish people for not doing things. We're not an elementary school. Call Miss Jones or email Miss Jones. Catch her off guard and email her and do a check-in with her. How you doing, Miss Jones? And I probably go in your office really, really guarded because I'm used to being called in the office when things are going topsy-turvy. I'm not used to going in your office talking about me and my well-being. So this is for you supervisor who need some guidance on how. I'm gonna do a whole training on that. Wouldn't it be nice to say, hey, Miss Jones, hey, stop by my office when you get a few moments. And as the culture of the agency is now, I'm like, oh shoot, what they want now? What is it about? What cases now? Who said I came in the back door late now? So that's the culture. But I'm giving you free tips now to say, stop by my office, Miss Jones. I want to talk to you for a minute. And I get in your office and you simply say, how are you doing? How are you doing? Not how that case is doing. Because truth be told, some of these clients doing better than us. Mentally, physically, emotionally, all that. Catch your team. This is what you need to understand as a supervisor. Because you signed up to be a supervisor. That means you told yourself you can handle all these different demands coming at you at once. You signed up for it. Did you sign up to be like everybody else? Or did you sign up to try to use your level of influence to change the culture of the environment? This is why we have a high turnover rate. Because people are not being supported and they're being oppressed. And we're supposed to have all this training in how to work in oppressed systems and advocate and create some creative programming to help people thrive and live better. But yet you oppressing people. You stressing them out with your tactics. Call them in the office, check and see how they're doing on my at the agency that I'm doing my hours. Because I already have my time, my exit strategy. I'm there for a season. That's it. Find out what's going on with people. Find out what's going on in their heart. Now, folks don't have to, they don't trust you yet because you probably done violated them 10 times and you gossip a lot. So they're not going to come tell you that their lights just got cut off or their kids is acting a fool at home. But create an atmosphere where people can come and be okay with saying, you know what, do you mind tomorrow? I need to come. Not do you mind, because we're not kids here. I'm going to go on record letting you know on Thursday I need to come in at 10 o'clock because I got to tend to some priorities at my home. And I'm going to need you to be okay with that because that's how you support me and my self-care so I can have things handled on the home front. Home front not handled, guaranteed them cases going to be piled up for the next person. Because as it stands right now, I have people in my camp that's doctors and they know about social work and stress. They have friends and kids and family members as social workers or psychologists or in the helping profession. They don't have a problem writing a note, giving you a timeout. So you managers out there and supervisors out there, get in the habit of creating a culture of making sure your staff, not your staff, your team. You guys are a team. You're not under a dictatorship. Words is everything. Words pack power. So catch Miss Jones in the hallway. Hey, can I come talk to you? Hey, how's your week going? I'm going to be guarded at first, but as I see you doing that genuinely, then I'm going to start thinking, this person really care about me. I'm going to still be guarded because we got some damaged relationships down here in these agencies. We don't trust you fully. And then if we request to go to another unit because we need some breathing room, we already know y'all talking and telling the next supervisor that you a hot mess. Yeah, I'm a hot mess because I'm in fire and all y'all doing is sprinkling water on me and giving us pulled pork sandwiches for Social Work Appreciation Month. Don't nobody need that pork. We need to be free in our minds. We need to be supported and honored as professionals. You need to set up a game plan with your team member to help them win. You don't need to go to countless meetings. We're in the days of digital everything. We should be able to operate from wherever we are. So that little meeting that you go to 4 or 5 times a week, you can catch a replay on a digital replay because you got to be on the front lines with your staff, your team, saying, you know what, Miss Jones got 50 cases right now. Not 50 kids, but 50 cases. You do the math about how many kids that might be, and she needs my help based on her communicating with me. Her help is not you sending me to another training to tell me how to manage cases. Because in our work, we don't manage people. We can't manage people. Each case is different. Each social worker is different. So we're missing the whole point. If I was a supervisor, I would be one telling my program manager, based on the distress I'm experiencing in my unit, in my team, I'm gonna need to miss a couple of these meetings. There's enough leadership in this room, or you guys have a secretary over there taking notes. You guys can go ahead and email me them good notes that y'all talking about. Because see, I know. I've worked in leadership in other places. Those meetings become a social network. And so it's really not driven off the agenda. It's a way for you guys to get away. Then you start talking about staff or talking about your weekend and holiday plans. It's not a true meeting, a lot of those meetings. That's why you're in there for hours, coming out with no solutions. Meanwhile, your staff is at the point of wanting to walk out the front door because the system is not serving and working as a team. And we went to school and learned about all those things. And y'all wondering why these newbies going in and going back to their waitressing jobs? This is why. And it's sad because you're not looking at the impact of what that's doing to our clients. You got a client that finally opened up to Miss Jones about all the things that's hurting him or her. And then you treat me funky and foul. And then I find my way to a point of depression or something, and I need to just leave. I'm at the point I want to work at IHOP just to get my peace of mind. I'll deal with the bills later. What does that do for that client that took 2, 3 years to open up? And they finally open up to me. I don't even have time to tell them I'm leaving the job because I'm so burnt out. So the impact to the families. And going back to the mission statement, I want you guys as social workers on here, go to the website, wherever agency you're in, print out the mission statement and the vision statement of your agency. Do that today. Do it whenever you're seeing this live or whatever it is I'm doing. Print out the vision and the mission statement of your agency. Every time you're meeting with your leadership, remind them, how are you going to help me? How are we together going to work towards getting towards this mission together as a team? Put some of that weight on them. They signed up for it. And be honest, because where I'm at right now, I'm afraid I'm not going to be ethically, you're challenged. And we're supposed to write off our code of ethics. And sometimes we even forget about that because we're just tired. And tired people do tired things. Tired people make tired decisions. Tired people don't even eat or overeat. Tired people can't make objective decisions in the toughest situations. We're serving families where we're terminating parental rights in adoption, for example. That's not a Walmart job. That's a lifelong impact. And we over here playing games with people's emotions and oppressing people and telling Miss Jones, and I'm using my name just, as example, telling Miss Jones, go, do more, do more, do more. You don't have these cases, you don't have those cases, you don't have this, and you don't have that. And wait, so-and-so resigned, so you got to inherit they mess. Hold on. And then you want to get stingy with the overtime? You wasn't holding Captain Crunch accountable when he was here. So now you telling me that I got to take on Captain Crunch mess without extra overtime? And then you want to scrutinize overtime? Yes, there's people that abuse overtime and all that. But aren't we supposed to treat individuals as an individual? If I treated a supervisor based on my past experience with another supervisor, or if I treat one client like I treat all of them based on what happened, one client did one thing to their kids, so all of a sudden I'm projecting what I experienced with that client to another client. That's not what we do in social work. So what it is you guys tiptoe, I'm talking to the leadership now, you tiptoe over holding people accountable to the person you might say that abuse overtime to the one that won't abuse it. So you treating her or him like he gonna abuse overtime. First of all, people don't even want to work overtime if they don't have to. If the money was right and tight, they wouldn't even have to. If y'all didn't have these performance evaluations that's telling them to crank out more, and you don't know that they dying on the inside. Do you know in my agencies, a psychiatrist just killed himself last week? A person that I personally was on the team with, who I personally had a conversation with, and I seen some of the warning signs, and I had a conversation with him. He was going through some things, some transformational gender reassignment things, and the world is ugly to people like that. And you guys have an LGBTQ support team over there, and your agencies are not. Maybe you do or maybe you don't. You don't know what people are going through. Leadership, aka supervisors, you're going through some things yourself. You may be projecting what's going on in your home on your team member. When you let go of that dictatorship, you versus them, like Bloods and Crips, you guys can come together and you can really make some breakthroughs. You can start really empowering the clients to work for themselves. And so we don't have these systems that enable people. So I'm going to give you guys some tips. On your lunch breaks, on your 15-minute breaks, I know we don't take them. Okay? I want you to team up with some winners. All you need is one winner on your team that believe in the power of transforming your mind. And that's going to take some work, because some of you guys have been beat up on the jobs emotionally with these employers that you have set your value based on your performance evaluation. Are you not bigger than a piece of paper? Haven't you gone through more difficult things than this? Do you not value your life enough to endure the tough spots and come up with exit strategy so you win, so your light's not cut off? Ain't that what you tell your patients to do? I'm sorry, I work with patients. Isn't, or what some of you guys, social workers, you work with patients. Is that not what you tell your clients to do? They got to endure the hardship. They got to jump through all the different hoops and programs and court deadlines. And you got to type all about it and hope the previous worker typed effectively. They probably use drugs, methamphetamine. Um, Domestic violence is big. But what's your drug of choice as a professional, as a leader? Are you a workaholic? Are you up there at them casinos giving away the little money that you don't have? Are you sexing it up with any and everything that come through the online booty calls? So we look a lot like our patients, but you have an upper hand because you have a voice that you're not using effectively. And I can show you how to do that in a clarity session. Because we got to get clear about not being full-time storytellers of our brokenness and get down on the solution side of things. So what's your solution today? You burnt out. A supervisor maybe talk to you in a way that you are not supportive of. But instead of you, perhaps, I'm just assuming, you didn't go on record asking for a meeting so you can let this person know, or in that moment, let them know this is not acceptable. It doesn't matter if they talk to everybody else like that, but when it comes to you, you got a boundary. You don't talk to Miss Jones that way because Miss Jones is a professional. I hold my self-regulation and self-regard and ethics very high, so therefore I expect nothing less from you, regardless of what your job title is. But instead, some of us feel bullied on the jobs. It makes me so, it's heartbreaking because I coach social workers all over from this county, Fresno County, in Sacramento, Kings County. So it's just a systemic thing that I'm seeing. It's not just one agency either, and it's not one specific employer. So what happens is if you're feeling bullied and lost your voice and lost your identity because it's all wrapped up into whether or not they give you a certificate or honor you and approve your day off that you rightly deserve, you go to a cubicle and you run a story down to your coworker who's burnt out. That's not how you solve problems. That's how you get revved up and get your blood pressure high. But that is not how you solve a problem. Running around being a storyteller of the brokenness is time out for that. You need to step in your authority. Reclaim who you are. Reclaim why you got into the profession. Have that conversation with your team leader and say, look, I am very, very skillful with teenagers, for example. I know that about myself. I am very good with working with teenagers. Some of us aren't. So you need to be having conversations about, I do very well working in a unit that serves young people. Because based on my experience, you should be an expert by now in something. Hopefully you're not an expert in running down to the union, getting rejected, an expert in talking about your managers and program managers and who got promoted and who didn't get promoted. That stuff gonna happen. I want you to focus on you. What are you an expert in your personal life and your professional life? And that's what you present when you call a meeting with that mission statement in hand. This is what you're going to talk to them about. Don't talk about Sally and John and all of whoever else is getting away with stuff or not doing stuff. That's not your business. You need to focus on getting back in the race of life. Recognize if you are at a point of compassion fatigue and mental burnout or physical, emotional burnout, that you need help. And beyond them EAP referrals that they give you, by the way, that I had to call when I was burnt out, the therapist didn't call me for 3, 4, 5 days. And as helping professional caregivers, it's hard for some of us to reach out for help because we always used to helping everybody. And when I finally humbled myself and made a phone call, they weren't available. Why? Because the profession is in demand. Folks called me 3, 4 days later talking about, I got a voicemail. You requested an appointment. How can I help you? First of all, I forgot what I called you about. Maybe I done had a couple of drinks by now and my little emergency crisis is over with. I done forgot. So this is what I'm saying. You see on my screen, Relax, restore, and refocus. Social workers need to relax so that you can restore and you can refocus. This is going to be a bit of a time because I haven't really got on here to talk to you guys. I'm just going to go through a few things. When we talk about relax, it means to make or become less tense or anxious. Social workers is at an all-time high of anxiousness. We anxious. We on anxious medications. We on medication that make us wake up. We on medication that make us go to sleep. We got medications that make us want to, you know, be nice to our husband and wives. We're at a time where everything is medication because we're not dealing with the core problem. The core problem sometimes is you bought into the belief that you are unworthy. You bought into to the belief of what that manager or supervisor have told you you're not. You bought into the belief that what the little piece of paper, the evaluation told you what you were. That's step number one. You cannot buy into the belief of what the next person perceive of you. Because once you buy into that, you start moving your life around what they think of you. You trying to get doing more cases so they can evaluate you a little bit better. You're not there to prove nothing to them. You're there in those hours to do what you can, the best of your ability with the expertise you have to empower families to do what they need to do to hopefully restore their families and get things handled and pulled together so hopefully they can get their babies back. And if that's not an option, you're there to do alternative planning so these kids can be okay and well. Period. So, in order for you to get to that place of worthiness and defining yourself according to what you define yourself to be, you got to relax, baby. You got to calm it on down. You got to calm it on down. I'm watching my time. I'm not going to be before you long. Don't I sound like them preachers? So, when we talk about relax, I said make or become less tense or anxious. And anxious is experiencing worry, unease, or nervousness, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. Isn't that how you're experiencing some of your supervisors? You don't know what the outcome is. They moving you around like dominoes, not talking to you, having secret meetings, nobody communicating. Everybody on the floor know you finna get moved or get put on a PIP, a performance improvement plan. Nobody knows nothing. The union people not answering their phone. That sense of uncertainty. How do you go on a vacation to Pismo if you don't know if you're going to have a job next week based on all the secrets and how people not communicating down there at your agency? Of course you're anxious. Who wouldn't be? So we got to get you to relax and start focusing on your value and your self-worth so that you're not out here like these clients. Maybe you're not doing meth and maybe you're not suicidal, but you're having suicidal actions, which means suicide cut off options. Suicide cut the whole option off. You're gone. You're dead. You're out of here. And if you're at that point, figuratively speaking, I'm praying none of you are suicidal. If you do have those signs, please, please, please get help. But I'm a figurative person, so I usually like to give illustrative, figurative uh, teachings because that's what resonates with me. That's how I flow, so I just flow with it. But sometimes we, show up in the world cutting ourselves off, cutting off our options, cutting off the option that you can be something bigger than that cubicle. The future tripping part of it is what I call future tripping. I got that off one of my good friends. She said, we future trip. You worried about things before they even happen. And anxious, and I just want to go on record with untreated mental illness, which is very high in our profession, depression, anxiety, mood disorders, schizophrenic, bipolar, all the different mental illnesses that are out there in that big, ginormous book. The bottom line, you want peace. Some of us is at an age, our memory is not what it used to be. We don't move fast as we used to be. We just want peace of mind. We want a steady paycheck and we want to go home and relax. That's all we want. So sometimes we trip off of making any moves, power moves, because we're future tripping on what might happen in the future. If I go talk to my boss, excuse me, my team leader, I'm trying to get us to reframe because we got to get to a sense of teamwork. So in football, basketball, they have coaches. I'm a life coach. So even if you want to frame it like that, she's a supervisor, aka coach. So a coach give you strategies on how to get out of a tough point. So if your coach is not guiding you and strategizing with you to be successful and to win, then they on another team. They jerseyed up in another jersey that don't match yours, and that's where the conflict is taking place. But it's going to take you as a professional to be bold about this conversation and letting them know you don't get treated like the get along gang. You got to stand apart. You got to demand the respect and let them know I don't care how you treat other people, but when it come to me, can we agree that we're going to have reciprocated respect? Because we don't need to be nice. We don't need to be nasty or nice nasty, where people try to act like they nice but undercut you. That nice nasty sarcasm, that's not cute either. Because together we need each other in our profession to serve the tough population that we're dealing with. So if you're future tripping, that means you're worrying and you're freaking out about the future instead of enjoying the present. So are you future tripping about what might happen in the future? You have this motive in your head. Sometimes that the supervisor and managers are against you. They plotting and ploying against you. Some of these managers, they stressed out themselves. I'm just going to go on record saying I do trainings with management, and people future trip thinking that the manager sitting in the parking lot watching them come in late. That manager is over here trying to get their own son checked into a rehab. Truth be told, these are real life situations. You think the car is the manager, but the manager is really down here at the rehab because their son is hooked on methamphetamine himself. And they don't have nobody to talk to about it because they're supposed to have a game face on and act like they all put together. And you over here future tripping, running around the office talking about be careful because somebody watching you and watching your emails. And, that's a little bit of paranoia. Get your head straight. Some of you guys can't afford people visiting your offices and your cubicles to tell you anything else negative. Cut it off. Your plate is full. You can't take no more. Your cup is so full with negativity because that's the culture of the agency you're employed with. Your work is how you're going to show up different now. Now that you know what you're working with, what are you going to do? So stop all that future tripping and come up with a strategy. Talking about restore, we talk about relax, restore. Restore is to bring back, give something that was previously stolen or taken away or lost. Give it back to the original owner. Isn't that the peace you probably looking for that need to be restored? Giving it back, your peace need to be given back to the original owner. But guess what? Nobody can take your peace. You give it away. You give it away. You give it away. You give a lot of things away. The fact that you don't even speak on things openly to the team leader, it speaks to your inability to communicate because you may be afraid that retaliation may take place. But what's going to happen on the contrary if you don't speak about it? And so you have to have that level of confidence in yourself when you reclaiming your life. I did a whole series on reclaiming your life. You can't reclaim your life if you don't have a sense of worthiness. When you don't have a sense of worthiness, you don't have tough conversation. You avoid them like the plague. You'll probably be one of those ones that kick butt on email and talking all this smack on email. But when it's time to get in front of a person, you want to go hiding. That's not how you do as a professional. Is that not what you tell your patients or your clients? To speak up, let them know what's working, what days work for them. How do you do this? How do you have a tough conversation? Okay, so maybe you should be your own client for the day or for the week. Be a client for a week and see how that works. I took a field trip to the welfare office one time just to go through the current process of what they go through because I heard the technology, is all caught up and they don't have to do things the old-fashioned way. And so part of the coaching program that I do, people that's looking to get in social work, we do field trips to some of these agencies so they can experience hands-on what clients have to go through. And so I invite you to do the same because some of your situations mirrors what your clients do. Some of you guys go hard in the paint for your client but won't do nothing for yourself. We 40 minutes in. I'm not going to be past 45 minutes. So you can watch this in segments or as you're driving home. The last part, once you relax, become less anxious. Remember, I said that. Once you restore, bring back what was stolen to its original owner, whatever that restoration needs to be: peace, respect, relaxation, a belief in oneself, your sense of worthiness re-identified. Like the song say, please allow me to reintroduce myself. I was stressed, burnt out, not knowing where to go, about to walk off the job. But as of tomorrow, I'm walking in knowing I'm here for a purpose. I'm not going to beat myself up, trying to kill myself, get my blood pressure high, trying to give you guys all these outcomes that you want that's not realistic. Okay? Do what you can with the time that you have. And don't goof off your time, because one thing you're going to do is bite yourself. If you're around here in offices and cubicles, hanging out, talking about all this deficit driven work, mismanaging your time, not getting stuff handled, and then you want to, there is two sides to the story. There is office floaters that's talking about all the brokenness, 8 hours. Them people not paying you to be all in everybody's office all day gossiping about what's going on in work. They are paying you to do a job. So just be clear about that and own up to your space in that. Because I used to dribble around. And that's what happened when you let so much pile up inside of you in terms of stress. You can't wait to get it out. And sometimes it takes you a long time to get it out. So once you start creating a process where you are troubled with something and you talk about it and have a solution in that moment and not stockpile all your stress, then you're not at people's offices for hours talking and crying about what's going on. And then that helps you to refocus. The third thing, relax, restore, and refocus. When you refocus, you adjust the focus of your lens to one's eyes. So then you start seeing your space and your agency through another lens. You're not paranoid about what the supervisor going to do. You're not paranoid about if you're getting written up. You're not paranoid that they about to move you. Your lens is going to change. You're going to start seeing yourself in a more valued way. This is where I'm at. I've been here X amount of years. I need some of you guys to go down to your retirement office and make an appointment. That would be one of my assignments when I'm working with my clients, my coaching clients. You go get an appointment with the retirement office, have them run those numbers. And with those numbers, we execute a strategy. What are you going to do with that? If you would become disabled today, what can you do with those numbers if you became disabled? I took a field trip down to my retirement office with the state. I'm a newbie. If I was to retire at 50, which is 4 more years, I'm eligible for a whopping $614 a month. That's just on the state side of it. Then I called the county and got my numbers with them, which is $1,700 a month. And let's talk about this good rent and mortgage in Fresno. It's going up. So you too busy, burnt out, and stressed. You haven't ran your numbers. You got to wake up and pay attention. Now, what am I going to do with $614 and then smack on $1,700? And then I ask the people, how much is the insurance going to be if I retire at 50? Because you have to wait to 50. That's the minimum age. And they said, well, you would be eligible to have the medical insurance, but you got to pay $700 for the premium. So I'm looking at $1,600 a month if I kept doing business as usual. Hence, I had to start my business doing what I love, which is serving you guys that's burnt out, stressed to the max, showing you how to monetize your gifts and abilities and make some money so you can have a little bit more ease and peace in your life. I'm not going to sit here with my master's degree dodging Neil Net and dodging Sally Mae and all these other people with these 800 numbers, and I'm a college professional. That sound good, but is it showing up on paper with all these cuts coming out of your check? This is for some of you out there that's settled. You have settled and gotten comfortable. I've been there. I know what it's all about. But life had to take me all the way down for me to realize my worth. And that's what I'm standing in now. And it's not fair for me to come out and find ways out. Like the Harriet Tubman, she went back and got the tribers and said, hey, it's a way up out of here. There's another way to do things. Even if you stay with your job, be intentional about what you're there for and when you're leaving and how you're going to leave. Run those numbers. Run those numbers. You don't have all that in check. As soon as that supervisor tell you that email that you ain't turned in 10 cases by Friday like you're supposed to, you are going to feel jacked up. On top of everything else that you might be going through. Sure, you're going to ascribe to her belief or his belief or assessment of you. because all them other areas in your life is unanswered. So you got some work to do. And part of it is renewing your mind. Okay, I'm over my time. I'm going to wrap up. I didn't even get to the 5 tips on finding true happiness. That was our workshop today. But I only wanted to be 45 minutes because I figured some of you guys we driving home and listening to this. But I did want to let you know, refocus your attention on yourself through repeating your main points that we talked about. It's easy to drop things you have not invested in. So you invested in your career, but did you invest in yourself concurrently? Did you invest in yourself concurrently? Meaning, did you go in this job saying, this is what I desire to do. This is my, if those of you who have a vision to grow with the agency, we do need more people on the macro side of things. Hint, hint. Get into policy making. Don't worry about if you don't know how it works. Just jump in it. That's what I specialize in. I jump in and figure it out. Okay, so if you did not go in with a strategy, this is my passion. As you age, we know our passions change. If you jump into it just because the bills have been paid or not paid or whatever, you're burnt out. If you're not invested in yourself, it's easy for you to drop out. It's easy for you to walk out that front door today and say, I quit, without having any strategy, exit strategy, or anything. And guess what? When you go to that other job, that's paying you 18. For those of you who have a bachelor's, it's 18, the average 18, 19 bucks an hour. And for master's level, the state is the next highest paying thing. And then when you get licensed, it goes to a whole nother level. I show people how to do freelance work. That's what I'm telling you. It's so much freelance social work up out here for y'all. It's crazy dope money on the table. But you can't get it if your mind not right, if you're not focused, if you're not relaxed and restored. There's other ways to serve people, even if it's your side hustle. What does my sign say? That's what I keep on my desk at my private office. Every day I'm what? I'm hustling. I'm out here getting mine. When I get mine, I go out and show you how to get yours. That's what I do. I don't keep it to myself. I don't. What do I keep in front of me? Things that's going to empower me. Positive psychology. We're living in a negative world. I put tools in front of me that's going to feed my spirit. That's going to help me stay in the game when I feel like quitting. You're not going to quit. You're going to quit when it makes sense to quit, when you have an extra strategy. Other than that, you're going to show up, do the best you can with the hours in front of you, and you're going to openly communicate with your supervisor and let them know this is what you can and cannot do. And document that you're having these conversations. Because we know food. Talk to me on the clarity session. I'll let you know how to handle things. And at conclusion, how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. Because basically, you are a badass. Little ass or big ass. That's my cussing for today. Little ass or big ass, it don't matter. You are a badass. You got people writing books about. Create a life you totally love is what it's telling you to do. In this big old thick form. You ain't got to even read the whole thing. But you are. And when you are and you're different and you stand out, expect to be attacked. Don't die in the storm. You got this, boo. So that's my spiel for my social workies in the child welfare world. Go out and do amazing things for yourself so you can relax, restore, and refocus. If you have not done so already, I have a workshop coming up, which will be my last in-person workshop, because going down to workshops in person, I am moving my model from one to many. I serve many more in a online growth shop opposed to going down to a conference room that I'm in right now. So Saturday, this upcoming Saturday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is a growth shop. We don't call it workshop because nobody want to hear the word work. At least I don't, not on the Saturday. You come as you are, very super comfortable, from 10 to 1 p.m. It's $45 donation because it funneled back into my nonprofit for youth. With that, it comes a light lunch or brunch because it's 10 to 1. And we have a on-site massage therapist who will be available for you. And it's strictly for women this time who are burnt out bosses. If you are burnt out professional, that's the name of it. Get on Talk to Tasha on Facebook. If you're not a Facebooker, email me at hello at talk the number 2 tasha.com. You can email me. I will send you the link to register. It will be your time out on Saturday. It is my last growth shop in person because I am moving away from working harder. I'm working more smarter. And that's what I teach you guys to do. Visit my website at www.talk the number 2 tasha.com. Check out the services. If you are an entrepreneur at heart, got this burning desire to start your own business, you're an expert in your you're a child welfare expert, but don't know how to monetize and package it up, that's what I do. I show you how to do it. I walk you through it. And pretty soon, you can walk off that 9 to 5 dealing with me because I'm not out here playing. I'm not out here playing, allowing you to keep talking about the agency over and over and over and over and over again. That supervisor and her or his messiness is going to be who they are. You can't change them. All you can do is change how you show up, period. Don't give them that level of control. If I have another client try to call me on the weekend telling me about what's going on in their work life and not using their weekend to live their life, I'm going to scream. Hence, I do not even take coaching calls anymore on the weekend. I do some administrative stuff or planning for my next week. We don't have time to keep telling the story of brokenness. It is what it is. So what are you going to do about it? Keep crying about it? Yank your degree off the wall that you done did all them crazy papers on and research and all that? I think not. Social workers, we not these clients on the streets under the bridge, if only if we choose to. And let me tell you something. Next spring, I think it's, no, actually January. I am having a VIP spa day just for social workers impacted by burnout. It's going to be in a bomb diggity place. We're planning it right now. One of my team members got I think she's working on a spot. I'm not going to say the spot yet because we got to do some confirmations. But they are really, really dope spots where you're going to come, baby, and you're going to reclaim your life. In between that, from that now until I'm looking at January to start our new year, it's going to be a, spa day just for burnt out social workers. It's a spa day trip. It's a spa day trip. And my spa stands for Sparkling Positive Attitudes. It's going to have a massage therapist. I did Survey Monkey with many of you, and the way you define self-care for yourself, most of you, I think more than 60% say you go to a massage parlor. So I listened to what you said, and that's what I'm doing. So basically, at the workshop this coming Saturday, growth shop, I'm sorry, we will have a massage therapist on deck, and she will be available for the low. Any donation you make to the growth shops I have, it filter right into the youth nonprofit that I started in college. So we're recirculating monies, restoring you so you can refocus and show up and give yourself a chance to live whole so you can have more free time and peace of mind and show up in your families like you're supposed to. Get up out of here with all that stress and nonsense and waiting for the supervisor to validate you. They don't have what you need. You have what you need. You just got to get somebody like me to get all in your business to activate that in you to let you know you matter. You bigger than that piece of paper. You bigger than that cubicle. You bigger than all the shadiness that's taking place. All you are ready to do, baby, is pack your bags. Start packing your bags because you ready. It's no accident you looking at this. I don't care where you chiming in from. It's no accident that you are looking at this clip. And I didn't mean to take an hour, but I had so much in me to share based on the numerous clients that I've served have been social workers lately and maybe 2 teachers. Everybody is burnt out. And this is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, so we got a lot of mental health awareness conversation taking place on my platform. Get our minds right. Be okay with getting help. I know you're a killer helper. I know you're a solution focused person, helping everybody at the office, helping everybody at your family, your family functions, everybody coming to you with all of that. I know all of that. But what about you? Don't nobody know secretly you dying on the inside? I know firsthand. I've been there, in that, done that. And sometimes it comes to visit me. I'm the most transparent social worker you're going to ever find. I let you know the good, bad, and the ugly. But I do let you know I'm on the solution side of things. So we're not here to state the obvious. We're here to make killer breakthroughs. So if you're ready to reclaim your purpose so you can relax, restore, and refocus that mind to create a new norm for yourself, to create a value that don't nobody have to tell you that you're doing a good job. You already know you're doing a good job. See, when we started in these agencies, some of us in our 20s, we was on fire. We was gassed up, jumping in cars, going out of town, whoop-de-whoop paperwork. Now some of us is in our 40s, in our dirty 30s and all that. The gas tank is low. The agency telling you to keep going, 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 but they can't even keep up. So there's a level of expectation put on you that management can't even keep up with because their bodies is breaking down too. Let's be real about it. We've seen some of these bodies up out here, and I'm talking about mines too. Baby girl packing all kind of packages in the front and the back, which is slowing me down. So it's going to slow that mind down. And then negative thinking steps in. I can go on and on. And since we're going to be an hour, I might as well go ahead and wrap up with the last 2 minutes. How bad do you want change? How bad do you want to change the way that you move through the world? The choice is yours. You can run cubicles, run buddies, go to lunch with people talking about your agency drama, or you can get connected to Talk to Tasha, who is born and gifted to serve people like you, because I've been there, done that. I have some answers for you. But you got to be willing to come out of that storytelling phase to action phase, because I don't deal and work with everybody in my work. I'm not here to try to sell you anything. I am here to remind you that you're bigger than what you're giving yourself credit for. And it's time out for our culture of social work and folks, on waiting lists to get in the graduate program just to have some time off from the job. But what are you going to do with that degree? Is that degree going to work for you, or are you going to keep working for that degree? The system going to be the system when we dead and gone. But what are you going to do with the little life we got left here on this earth? Other than complaining about what's going wrong. What's going right with you is that you're looking at this clip and you're ready to make some changes. So get connected. Talk to Tasha is the Facebook page. I am a Facebook inspirationalist, so I send inspiration out on Facebook almost every day. I am a person that's going to send inspiration to your inbox. So if you want to drop your email me at hello@talk2tasha.com. I'll hit you with some inspiration in your inbox, but it's going to be attached to some action plans. In the meantime, in between time, I want you to look on my website. And I really, truly want you to check out some of them blogs. Because some of them blogs, you guys, was at my darkest space. And I shared it on purpose because I know some of us have dark spots we don't want people to know about. But I'm real opposite of that. I feel like people grow more when you're transparent and let them know all the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you look at my blogs, it's not just blogs just to be reading about the pain of a person. In each one of them, it has a takeaway for you to consider for your own life. And you're able to comment on them and reflect on them. And then you're going to realize you're not the only one feeling the way that you're feeling. It's a tribe of us out here feeling the same way. But me, I'm on the solution side of it, and I want to bring you out of that dark spot. If you're willing, I'll see you on Saturday. If you can't make it Saturday, it's all good to the good. Check out the resources on my website, and do get yourself connected to the email so you don't miss this VIP retreat we're having just for social workers. It's going to be off the chain. I'm telling you, it is going to be, I don't even know if people stay off the chain anymore, but that's my word. It's going to be well-deserved time off, and it's not going to be just an illusion. It's going to be true. Let our hair back, put it in a ponytail, come in your flip-flops, tank tops, it don't matter. We are planning an amazing VIP for social workers because it's time out. It's so time out for you to be living beneath your purpose. So we can profit your purpose. We can turn your stress to success. But you have to be willing to show up and want something different. Otherwise, you can stay packed in that cubicle. For those of you guys down there smoking on them cigs, and you can stay there doing that. And so I'm out, but never will I say goodbye. And I'll see you guys when I see you, hopefully soon. Now let me figure out how to end this, and we're good to go.